very much. So, my name is Marcel Meret, so I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences. So we do social sciences and we do humanities, so we believe that studying humanities is also sciences, that's why we call that social sciences. So I'm on behalf of the Faculty of Social Sciences and also on behalf of the University of Ottawa, distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all. I would like to say that at the University of Ottawa we have what we call a strategic plan named Destination 2020. And that strategic plan we have the objective to be intensive in research, but also to be relevant and to connect and to partner with the community, local, national, international. And I think this partnership tonight, this conference, is a perfect example of what we would like to do. And that's why we are so proud that through the Ukrainian studies and through its holder that was just presented, my colleague Dominic Harrell, we are very proud to have a large number of activities, a large numbers of academic activity as well. And we expect to have more and more students working and writing theses on the Ukrainian challenges and so on. And that's why we have supported the chair so far, and we intend to support even more in the future. So I would like to congratulate the steering committee and all the organizers of this conference. Obviously, this is full house. This is already a big success. I know that we have some very interesting keynote speaker later tonight, so I will stop here and have a good evening, and especially an important, very good conference, a very important and very timely conference. Thanks again.
Merci, Marcel. To bring greetings from the federal government, but also I think she has some other things she might like to say. Could I ask the Honourable Beverley, Minister of International Cooperation and CEDA? Bev?
Well, good evening, everyone, and apologies from the House of Commons, all the members, for delaying your dinner this evening. Ambassadors, members of the Diplomatic Corps, my colleagues in the Cabinet, the Government of Canada, Senators, my Parliamentary Secretary, and all colleagues from the House of Commons, and distinguished guests, I'm truly humbled to have been invited to participate with you. At this important juncture, I'm sure that there will be some intense debate and discussion on the future of Ukraine. And I know that you have the experts and eminent thinkers amongst you. But let me assure you that the Government of Canada, my minister, and my ministerial colleagues, Minister of Foreign Affairs, John Baird, and I are monitoring the situation in Ukraine with great interest and concern. We look forward to the findings of your conference as we look to the future and our relations with Ukraine. As you know, our nations share historic ties and friendship that extend back through generations of Ukrainian migration to Canada. For over 120 years, the Ukrainian diaspora has contributed to the social, economic, and political fabric of Canada. And over that time, you have played an integral part in bringing your adopted homeland and your ancestral homelands closer together. In fact, with many Canadian cities and towns twinned with those in Ukraine, and in fact, my region of Durham is also twinned with a region in Ukraine. I can't say the name, but I was told if I say Dnipro, In 1991, Canada was the first Western nation to recognize Ukraine's independence, and since then, we have devoted considerable efforts to support Ukraine's democracy and political transformation, as well as economic reform. And Canada was the first to recognize the tragedy of the Holodomor, a dark moment in history that saw the honest, hard-working people being victimized. The result of one of the worst famines the world has ever known, with millions dying of starvation. As you know very well, independence without freedom, justice, and opportunity is not a recipe for prosperity and a true democracy. That is why CETA is actively working to improve economic opportunities for Ukrainians and to strengthen the democratic framework. Over the past 2 decades, Canada has, in fact, consistently supported Ukraine's economic and democratic growth through actions such as sending observers to monitor elections in Ukraine. And many of you here this evening participated in those election observations, taking time from your jobs and families to ensure Ukrainians could have faith in the electoral process. CETA worked with Ukraine to establish a central voter registry to improve election laws, and we continue to monitor Ukraine's democratic landscape. We know that a democratic deficit still exists. Like the Ukrainian Canadian Foundation and Congress, we are concerned about the apparent centralization of decision-making, power, and an erosion of democracy and justice. The statistics speak for themselves. I also want to point out, as we near International Women's Day, and my colleague Joyce Smith, who has worked so hard on human trafficking. And we have too many victims of human trafficking coming from Eastern Europe. As we move towards the upcoming parliamentary elections next fall, we will continue to pay close attention to all democracy-related developments in Ukraine, developments which are increasingly becoming troubling. We are particularly disappointed by the apparent political bias against opposition figures in recent judicial proceedings. Such cases signal a deterioration of democracy and undermine human rights and the rule of law. An independent judiciary and active opposition are vital components of an effective democracy. And Canada will continue to support Ukrainian efforts towards a free, democratic, and prosperous society. Beyond ensuring democratic progress and stability, improving the business environment for a strong economy remains a high development priority for us in Ukraine. And because sustainable economic growth is an effective way to help Ukraine reach its national goals over the long term, CETA's work centers on diversifying the economy and stimulating productivity and innovation. Economically, Canada and Ukraine enjoy positive commercial relations with two-way merchandise trade that totals $252 million in 2010. But as those of you know from the business community, we can do much more. As Ukraine's economy continues to grow, I know that the economic ties that bind our two nations will also grow. To achieve our goals, this means also improving the capacity of all levels of government, especially local governments, to deliver on the basic needs of their citizens across Ukraine. We are working to improve the planning and delivery of services that support economic growth at the municipal level. And the Canadian municipalities in Canada here are playing a big part in this work through the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. We are doing so much in Ukraine. And I'd like to ask you to go to the CETA website to see the many, many projects. But why do we focus on Ukraine? Because Canada believes in Ukraine. We believe in its people and in its potential. And also because when a friend of Canada struggles, Canada offers support in any way it can. Finally, rest assured, we will continue to stand with Ukraine, particularly in these challenging times. Prime Minister Harper reinforced our commitment to a free, democratic, and prosperous Ukraine during his visit in 2010, and I too will take this message to Ukraine when I visit next month. Let me conclude by saying, Canada stands with you, the people of Canada stands with you, the government of Canada stands with you. There is much to be done with the strength and the force that we have here this evening in the room, with the intelligence, the concern, the determination that Ukraine and Ukrainians deserve freedom, justice, and democracy. We will get there. We'll achieve our goal. Thank you.